so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start using 320 grit sandpaper and just kind of go over the surface here. Smooth it out as best as I can. That way we can get better flow with the material we're trying to use. The less rough of a surface you have, the better self-leveling capabilities you're going to get out of your varnishes. You know, flatter surfaces generally tend to level out stuff a lot better than a rough surface. Well, let's do a little sanding here, get everything all cleaned up. And we're just kind of going over the woodwork with a little bit of acetone here. And getting all the elements off of it. Any debris that was from the sandpaper, from sanding. And clean it up, get that surface nice and prepped. Ready for primer. All right, I put everything into a vise here. It doesn't really hold it down, just gets the wood up and out of the way of everything so I can actually get to all the wood on here. I mean, even down under here I can get down to. And then all the way up here. I know you guys can't see that, but once it's done, I will get you guys the best close-up that I possibly can. And I'll show you the process as I do it. Here I'm opening the primer. This is a almost a two-part system, but not really a true two-part system. It requires a primer layer and a gloss coat, but there's not a hardener that goes into the gloss coat. Driver down on it. Woo! Stuff smells pretty good. Reminds me of my dad's garage. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put it on a rag and I'm going to apply it kind of like so. Seems like a little bit will go a long way. The reason I'm using a rag is I just feel like it's going to get me a much more even coat. Sorry I'm blocking y'all's view, but there we go. Got the layer applied here, and this is actually using the clear version. They make a yellow and a red primer, as well as what I used here, which is the clear primer. And I think it actually looks pretty good. I thought about buying yellow, which would kind of give it like a bit of an amber tone to it, like a little bit more of an amber. It might have popped the grain just a little bit more, but you know, I really wasn't sure. I didn't know how yellow the yellow would be, and you know, maybe that's just more on my part than anything else. But you know, get nervous buying these at $74 a freaking quart. So you know, I was just thinking this might be all right. But anyway, this is a good test run so far, and what I'll do, let it dry for about 9 hours, and now it's ready for a just a light sanding, and then I'm going to apply the clear gloss to it. And this is the clear gloss, as you can see here, and I'm going to put that on with a brush, a foam brush. I was actually I was reading on Awl Grip's website that I should have sanded this to about 120 and not gone really beyond that. So I'll note that for the future here. and I don't know if I'm gonna exactly go up as high on the boat. I've already sanded the 220 on the boat, but it's easy to sand back down to 120. But if this goes well, I am probably just gonna leave it at 220, somewhere in between. Remember, this thing is sanded to 320. So let's just see how this works. It's a trial run, so we'll give it a whirl. Okay, first thing I'm gonna do after I've got this thing coated already is give it a light scuffing. Come back over it a little bit. I'm barely putting any pressure on this, especially on the edges here. This thing is going to come down. So, put it down here on the bench. Okay, well, I got the clear coat, clear gloss stuff here. And I'm going to extend my pot life by keeping that down, but see how this stuff works. I know some of you guys are going to find it absolutely sacrilegious to use a foam brush on for varnish here, and let me just tell you, you guys are absolutely right. I switched over to a bristle brush, not in this video, but you'll see it coming up soon whenever I started on the boat, and I now swear by them. So my dad got me to use it, and a subscriber actually reached out and said something on my channel, and once my dad brought them along, I definitely gave it a whirl, and I find that it puts a far superior coat down, and you don't have to work it nearly as much. So, recommendation, use a bristle brush. First coat on, and you can see that it is starting to get glossy along the run here. Try to get you a little extra light. And that light is not doing us any justice. Okay. As it dries, it seems to get like a little bit glossier and a little bit glossier. And it looks like after a couple of coats, this thing should turn out fairly well. I'm pleasantly surprised. And excited to put on some more coats here. I'll do that a little bit later on. Alright guys, well, I've let this dry for about 8 hours, and it's only because I had to go to work today. So I'm going to give it like a light sanding, just like a little scuffing up, and I'm going to apply maybe coats 2 and 3 this evening. Since the recoat time is only like an hour and a half on this, and the maximum time before sanding is 4 hours. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and sand this down, just like a light scuffing, and then put on another coat. Alright guys, it's time for coat 2, and I'm going to get started on this. It's going to take probably about 6 to 8 coats in order for me to get all of this to where I want it. Coat number 2, I just applied it. Same kind of technique, just back and forth, up and down, and then a light pass with a long pull on the way down that I could. And this is coat number 2. And the best, sorry about the lighting, I know it's kind of rough, but my garage really doesn't have a lot of lighting in it. Anyway, but I think some areas really turned out well on here. So I'm gonna do another coat in about an hour and a half. All right, so just like that, an hour and a half went by, and it is time for coat number 3. Well, here is the third coat, and I think it came out extraordinarily well, and I am really enjoying this product. But that's all we have time for, and I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and if you have, please give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe.